All right, why do casinos move slot machines around or get rid of them, replace them, whatever? Is it because they're paying too much or not paying enough? Let's talk about that today on the Gamble Smart channel. Happy Tuesday morning to you. All right, as always, if you are new here, we certainly want to welcome you to the Gamble Smart channel. We do these kind of daily tips and tricks and general education and Q&A about how all this stuff works every single day of the week, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central Time. So we would love to have you if you like that kind of stuff. Subscription, thumbs up, you know the drill. All right, so today's topic is all about how do casinos decide what slot machines go into their casino and where should they put them? So every casino has a slot director or a floor manager or something like that, and their ultimate responsibility is to put games in certain locations where people will play them. That is the ultimate goal. It's not about getting a certain amount of money out of the machine or anything like that. They just need people to play the slot. Any slot game that is not being played on a casino floor is lost revenue for that casino. So what goes into that? Well, that's why a lot of events like G2E exist, so that slot directors and managers can go and see what's new and what they think their players might want to play. And so that's why usually around G2E they get to see, and this is like the worldwide event where people come to Las Vegas and they get to show off all their new games. All the manufacturers show off all their new titles coming out, all that kind of stuff. And so this is a good way for them to see what's coming up next, what they might want to place orders for, that kind of stuff. But there's actually two ways that casinos pick which slot machines and how they get them on the floor. So the first is they can lease them from the manufacturer. Now this is fairly common nowadays, especially with licensed type games like Willy Wonka or Wheel of Fortune or Lord of the Rings or Wizard of Oz. Any of those licensed type titles, they typically will lease them from the manufacturer because they're not going to last very long. Okay? Those types of games come and go very quickly, and so instead of the casino just outright buying them, they will lease them from the manufacturer. And what this simply means is that for every dollar that goes in the machine, the manufacturer gets a small percentage of that. So it's basically a cut in exchange for having to buy the game outright. The manufacturer comes out and repairs it, upgrades it, does all that stuff for them so the casino doesn't have to worry about it. So this is common in both small and large casinos, okay? So it doesn't really matter the size or anything like that. It's just the type of game, okay? Your classics, the double diamonds, all those types of games, they typically just buy them outright because they will last a very long time, okay? So the second thing, well, how do they decide which they want to put on the floor? And this is something that takes a lot of thought, okay? It really does, because the worst thing that a casino can have is a slot machine game that nobody is playing, okay? That is lost revenue for the casino. So they don't look at the hold percentages to see how much money's come in and out of a slot machine and make the determination based off of that. Their determination is based off of the location of that slot machine, how much traffic should it be getting. And they have metrics on all this stuff because they've been recording it since the time they opened the casino, right? They have this data. And so they know if they put a specific slot game in there and nobody's playing it, or they're not playing it for long and not a lot of money's going through it, then they've made a bad choice. So what do they do from there? Well, they may move it to a different location. So maybe it's somewhere in a dark corner somewhere, not many people see it's there. Well, they will move it towards the front. And this is kind of like the last-ditch effort, right? So let's move this machine where people can see it because it's in a walkway or something like that, and see if we can get some eyeballs on it and people sit down and play it. If they don't do that, they get rid of it. If it's a lease game, it's really easy because they can just trade it in for something else. And there's a lot of contracts and stuff like that, but generally that's the way it works on lease games. Or they can just get rid of that game, put it in a warehouse and put something else in its place, buy another machine and put it there so they can get more play. So I want to answer a couple of questions here. People have asked us, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, wouldn't they just watch for games that have, like, very low hold percentage and make sure that those get played a little bit more so they can get more money out of that slot before they get rid of it? Or on the other side where they say, well, this machine is paid way too much back to the players. I need to let it sit there for a little bit longer before it kind of catches up. No, they don't do that, okay? Because it's all about big, large averages of all the machines on the casino floor. If they only had one slot machine, then maybe they would be doing that. But they don't care so much about that. What they are focused on, highly focused on, is people playing the game. So if you see your favorite slot machine disappear, it's nothing against you. It's not because the progressive was high or because it was paying out a lot. It's nothing like that. It's just that people have not been playing it up to their standards. It's not getting enough play. It's valuable floor space. They need to put something else in its spot. So that's what they do. So whenever you hear stories about, casinos taking out certain machines because they don't want to pay the progressive, or they take out certain machines because they've just been hitting too much. That's all completely false. It's just not the way it works. And by the way, on that topic, progressives, they can't just get rid of progressives. You know that, right? They have to actually either combine it with another progressive on the casino floor, or they have to give it back to the players in some fashion, whether it's a free play giveaway, a car giveaway, or something. Progressives are due back to the player, and that's by law. So they can't watch a progressive get very high and then say, you know what? This isn't going to be something we want to pay out, so let's take that machine off the floor so we don't have to pay off that progressive that's been going and building for years. They are not allowed to do that. By law, that has to go back to the players in some way, okay? So that was kind of a side topic, but that is another reason why they don't just remove games. Sometimes they will leave them sitting there. If you ever remember, I think it was called the Lion's Share. It was a progressive from, I think from the 80s or 90s that was in MGM Grand for a very long time, because it was a dollar game. It was 3 coins. If I find it, I'll put an article link somewhere so you guys can check it out. But it basically did not pay the progressive for 10 or so years, and they weren't able to get rid of it until somebody hit it. And so it took a very long time, and ultimately the person that hit it got a huge jackpot. It was like, I don't remember, I can't even quote it. I think it was over $2 million, but it was a crazy amount for a $3 bet, plus they got to keep the machine, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyway, just remember, guys, that just because you see games getting shuffled around and moved around and new ones being replaced by old ones and all that kind of stuff, the slot director is just trying to get people to play the games. It's just like the floor space you see inside of a shopping center or a grocery store or something. That stuff is very valuable. Those end caps are very valuable, and they need to make sure that something goes in that spot that people are going to buy and see and do all that kind of stuff. Slot machines are the same way. So I hope that kind of filled you in a little bit about the decision making that goes into where slot machines go and all that kind of stuff. As always, we hope you gamble smart, gamble safe, and we'll see you tomorrow to tomorrow's tip. Take care. Bye-bye.